Peace, family. Back at you again, YBI Academy. It has been a little second, but we right back at it, right back on it again. Today, we are going to get into uh, a very important topic of what's been going on lately with so-called black celebrities or black entertainers or, excuse me, black people who hold a specific platform even, and things that have been said, and the dangers of these things that have been said, and the best way for us to really approach what's being said and how we need to go about handling the words that are being spoken into existence, and targeting the planning for the youth, and how we are going to get the truth and legit, thorough, inner, and understanding of what's being fed and what's being said and what's being spoken about. So, as of late, we've been having a lot of, not even as of late, well, of course, as always, as of late, there's been a lot of cooning going on, and it can be cooning a lot of times just through action and through words, and when we start to identify these coons by something they say or something that they actually do. Now, someone who is a popular person, a lot of people have a variety of different opinions on him and so on and so forth, but has been definitely walking that fine line of coonery, has been Charlamagne the God. And for those of you who don't know, he's a radio personality. I think they're headquartered in New York. I'm not even sure, but they do the Breakfast Club. And when I was doing my research for this video, I was looking to find out exactly who owned the Breakfast Club, but I could not find that information. So if anybody does know that, please put that into the comment section or drop the link so I can further investigate the actual owner of the radio station. But I'm pretty sure it's going to fall under the six Jewish individuals who own most of the TV and radio airwaves and media outlets across the world, in America especially. So that won't surprise me. So that's why I didn't over pursue it, because it usually always falls back to the same individuals when we talk about TV, music, entertainment, radio stations, and so on and so forth. It's the same. It's usually the same group and the same families who have monopolized a variety of the industries. And although there are black people on front or in positions of what we can seem to be, which is power, which is really not power at all. We'll get into that as well. And it's what Amos Wilson always alludes to, the black face on white power. So it's still, it looks like it's brought to you by your people, by people who represent your community, who look like you, who've gone through your plight, your struggle, so on and so forth. And some of them have, but it's actually given to you, or it's being spoon fed through you, or delivered through the white supremacist ideology. And on that note, I'll go into the main reason why Charlamagne the God is being brought up at this part of the video, is because he released a book recently called Black Privilege. And of course, it's a outlandish statement, so a lot of people will attract to it or go for it and kind of wonder what all he's talking about when you hear something like black privilege, because most ears are used to falling on white privilege and hearing white supremacy and so on and so forth. So it's definitely a good catch in regards to the title. So I understand exactly why he would title the book that way. And from the little bit I know about him, he's one to attract attention or enjoy having attention, and try to get attention by having controversial outlooks or viewpoints on things of that nature. So the book title Black Privilege, of course, caught my attention in a way which made me say, well, of course she's trying to make sales with the title. There may be something to what he's saying, because I never try to look at something with my first perspective or my first viewpoint. I try to get a little deeper into it, think a little more, and see exactly what the author may be trying to get across or trying to get the reader to understand. And I've skimmed through the book. I haven't read the entire book, but I know for sure that from what I saw, he's bringing out some of the beauty in the struggle, which there is beauty within a struggle, and you can find beautiful moments in chaotic or tragic or traumatic situations. Of course, that's just the power of the creator and the planet that we live in, which is such a when it's at its ecological peak and at its proper homeostasis. It's one of the most it's the most beautiful planet on that the galaxy has seen, or that humans have been able to experience on the galaxy. A planet fine tuned and meticulously crafted to have everything that humans need and more in a abundance. So I try to keep my mind open with that. But when I look at the title and I look at Charlamagne the God and I look at where we are today in America, I say the book title and the book is going to be more of an hindrance than an actual benefit to black people as a whole. And this is why. When we look at the title Black Privilege, we think about the word privilege. And as black people, we look economically in regards to stocks and bonds, in regards to actual finance, ownership, enterprise, monopolizing industries. There, I don't see many blacks that are privileged in an economical or a financial manner. And then we can always go back to and say, well, what about the black billionaires? What about the black millionaires? Are these black millionaires and billionaires doing anything for black people on the ground, or the so-called middle class, or the black people that are beneath the middle class, beneath the lower class? What are they really doing? So never forget that, because we'll say, well, how can what about so let's look at while we on this topic, the black people that are privileged or have money and privilege, the athletes and the entertainers, and we're going to get more in depth on that later. But ask yourself, what are they really doing for black people as a collective on a micro and macro level? Because they owe their people that. But a lot of these black economists and black financialists or financial advisors, or black people in the business of finance or the profession of finance, they don't even associate with being black, or they've escaped, so they're like, no, that don't got nothing to do with me. That's them that's them that's them, not me. So we always have to remain aware of that as well. We do have certain black people in those fields, but what are they doing for us as a collective on a macro and micro level? Once they are able to, once they have the funds to do so, because we also have to get away from thinking every successful black person is meant to save me or help us or as a collective. And we are going to have to be of the mindset of doing for self. But with that, I am still saying there are many blacks within these fields that have money, that are saying things that are right along with coonery, and are doing things that are not far away from it also. So we can't forget that. Now let's go into judicially. When we look at the court system and the legal system, if anybody is watching this, you have not seen if you have not seen any documentaries on COINTELPRO, You need to look them up immediately. There are a lot on YouTube. If you have not seen the documentaries on FBI informants infiltrating Marcus Garvey's movement, the Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, and the Martin Luther King Civil Rights Movement, which was the integration movement that the Europeans enjoyed the most because it was one of the most psychotic things they had ever seen a group of people do. So a lot of times during that the civil rights movement, they're doing data collection, and they're taking psychological evals and assessing your behavior and how they can continue to get you to want to be around and love and co-inhabit with and live with and procreate with your enemy. Why you want us to teach you, why you want us to let you live with us. This was data that was being taken on the mind to try to understand how they would continue to control the mind and get you to want to do something that is totally backwards when we look at the laws of survival and life itself. The court systems are dominated by Europeans. We know as blacks, whenever we go to court, male or female, the punishment is harsher, the leniency is less. We're misrepresented and underrepresented always. The jury is never going to represent us. Never has, never will. So judicially, are we privileged? No. Educationally, we in America's system, because we send our kids to these public schools, it takes away from the academic or the intellectual privilege that we do have through the neuromelanin. So when we miseducate our kids and send our kids to miseducation systems, which is what a majority of our people do, no, we don't have educational advantage when we're or privilege when we look at America being in the bottom half when we rank the different nations and countries for academia. So no, no, and this is not, and you know, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the page YBI Academy and check out the videos that I've already done before, and I've broken down the educational system in depth. So we're talking about the low standards and the miseducation in the European curriculum right now. We're not even talking about how you don't have a privilege because you're underrepresented in regards to teachers, faculty, and administration. We're not even talking about how you are not privileged based off of where you live at and where you come from in your neighborhoods and your property tax, because the schools are funded off of property taxes. So there's no privilege within that. So for a black man who has grown up in those environments, or I don't know this man's background, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, and if he did, it would be confusing to a lot of other people who have, to say, why is he writing a book like this if he has grown up and seen that, or if he has grown up and gone through that. But these may be the Europeans within his pocket or within his circle that are influencing that, or it may just be his mindset, and he knows it's going to be a great seller because it's a controversial topic. Okay, educationally, there's not much privilege whatsoever. So once again, I don't see the premise of the title of the book when we're looking at the areas in which we would say we base value upon, or we can judge whether one has or does not have privilege. And when we look at this, we're not seeing it in society. The society is not catered. Society is not catered for an African American or a black to be privileged or to have any sort of privilege. Society has trained us to think that we have privilege if we got some money, or maybe we think we got privilege because we got a radio show, or we're on a radio show. Because I feel like Charlamagne the God he feels like he's privileged. I did a little research. I think he has a $2 million net worth. So he's a black man who definitely didn't come from money like that, got some money like that on a radio show, gets to live to an average individual caught up and plugged into the matrix, gets to live in a elaborate or luxurious life. Has not had $2 million is really nothing in the grand scheme of things, especially when America is in debt by the trillions and we're controlled by the Federal Reserve and the IMF banks. They keep printing dollars for debt slave labor workers when technology is about to take over the jobs, and a lot of us won't have work. But that's another video for another day. But Charlamagne the God probably feels he's privileged, which may be why he would even get the idea to title his book Black Privilege. But your life is not the life of all black people in America. Your life is not the life of all black people in the world. See, a lot of people look at white privilege and don't understand this is worldwide. A lot of people don't understand and overstand how much European influence is in Africa. How many European nations run and control Africa to this day. How they took over the land and made seaports. And made military bases and set up areas that they will always own and control in Africa. Let alone the monopoly and control that exists in America. So how I see it is Charlamagne the God is privileged, and his mindset is privileged because he's living the average American lifestyle, above average American lifestyle. Got a little bit of money, especially to an average black man in America. Get to do his radio show, get to turn up, meet celebrities, talk about whatever topics they talk about. Because I'm not an avid listener of the show. So yeah, he think he got privilege, but that don't mean that everybody black got privilege, because we got to look at black households. The average median for the black household is $1,700 without the car. Without the depreciating things that we own, without the depreciating values or the depreciating items. $1,700. So yeah, you got privilege, but where is black privilege and the average black family having $1,700 to their name without the car that they probably owe 30 racks on? So if we included a car, there'd be a negative balance. See, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. This is that issue. Black celebrity only see that once they get to that certain area or that certain realm, they only can start. It's like a program. It's like another chip. It's like another floppy disk. It's like another whole program that they insert, which we do know. Some of you may not. A lot of these athletes and entertainers are under the MK Ultra mind control, Project Monarch. Do your studies. And the truth will not always shock you. You do your studies, you're going to understand that the truth is more crazy than a lie. If you do your studies, you understand that the truth is crazier than a lie. So we got a lot of these black celebrities who see it from their viewpoint. So they're like, yeah, blacks is privileged. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. We privileged, we good. What you mean? Look at me. How we not privileged? Lil Wayne said, there ain't no such thing as racism. It's white people in the crowd when I rap. Right. The same white people saying nigga. Okay? And to call you that out of context too. Just in case your counter is, they saying it in context with the song. No, they'll call your ass a nigger or a nigga out of context too. They'll do it. I've seen them do it. Okay, so we have to understand that these celebrities no longer affiliate nor associate with us at the bottom. And I'm saying that from the American ideology and hierarchy and social status lifestyle, because I'm never at the bottom. When we really understand this world, we really understand the importance and the beauty of the planet, when we really understand the gifts given to us by the Creator, understand who we are, understand how gifted and how talented we are, and what we can manifest and what we can do. Money, gold, cars, status, celebrity, a lot of that goes out the window. We can be in awe of the trees or the environment or the wind or the oxygen that I breathe in that I cannot see. Because I know that is life-giving. The video is coming soon on the food, how to eat to live. Part 3. We already broke down the nutritional guide. Now we're going to show you the herbs, the benefits of the herbs, and the food to be eaten, and what it really feels like and looks like to eat great, clean, crisp food. But you're never on the bottom. Once you can separate from the materialism, once you can separate from the collectivism and the material wants that was brought to you by Sigmund Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays. You gotta look. Edward Bernays. Look him up. Study him. Or I might just do a whole video breaking it down. And collectivism. Social engineering. We have to study these sciences. We are the first sciences. A lot of life is science. The Europeans shoving a lot of false science down your throat. But it's certain laws that are sat there that you can say, I know this is because of the Creator. Just like I'm a man, because when I look down at myself, when I was born, when the doctor examined me based on my anatomy and my organs, I was a man. I can't go and say nothing different. That's just science. That's just law. But we've removed ourselves from that. That's another topic for another day as well. Back to the so-called privilege. We don't have privilege in America. We're getting incarcerated at the highest rates for doing the least amount of things. We know we have individuals, the Europeans, using the drugs, committing more crimes, getting less harsh sentences, more leniency. The black women's net worth on average is $5. $5. Black woman on average in America. Where's the privilege in that? So I understand the beauty in the struggle. I understand that there is somewhat, depending on how you look at it, some may say it's privilege in going through the struggle because it made you tough, but or it made me able to get to where I'm at right now. But the thing is, everybody not gonna get to where you at because it's only a certain amount of opportunities. Everybody not gonna make it through the struggle. Everybody not gonna come from the hood and not get caught up in the crack, selling dope, the gangs, the having multiple children by multiple women. They're not going to get past all of those obstacles. So I don't agree when people who have made it out say anybody can do it. And just leave it at that. Because I can respect you more if you was in the streets making sure anybody could do it. Grabbing up our kids that you know can do it and implementing things to actually manifest that. But just saying it don't mean much no more. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it, but everybody had help. Everybody had guidance. Everybody had somebody that brought them into light to escape from the concrete jungle. So just because you did it, don't speak on it so lightly as if anybody can, or as if everybody can deem that to be privileged. Because some people make it out, and you are privileged if you can make it out because you've gone through so much. But everybody don't make it out. There's certain people that get sucked up, and due to the lack of privilege, will never get out. Because that's what I feel like I'm getting from him. The beauty in the struggle. To pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Nobody's gone through what you've gone through. And all of this is true. But you do a radio show with rappers most of the time. What are you doing to manifest that for our youth who are at attack every day from the same rappers that you lollygagging about and interviewing and not grilling their ass on social topics or content of their lyrics? So to an extent, you are a black male with privilege, but what are you doing with your privilege? You are privileged to an extent to have a radio show and be able to bring rappers on the radio show. But you doing exactly what the European wants you to do. Y'all lollygagging and shit. Talking about the latest mixtapes and all of that. But not grilling them on real life situations. How do you feel about the way your music influences you? How do you feel about what's going on with the music that's influencing you? Why is most of your album always about sex, money, and drugs? Why is so many rappers only referring to black women as bitches? Why every time I see your videos, it's half naked women and money getting thrown around? Or they know why? Because they already plugged in. Like I said, they already plugged into the matrix. They already plugged in to that level or that program. So they know it's all about money, sex, drugs. They following code. They following code. And I ain't hating on them. I ain't mad at them. Do your thing. But when you speak in this manner, you have to put actions behind your words. Yeah, he got a nice morning regimen, a daily regimen. Yeah, you go hard, you're grinding. But what about the kids? And like I said, it's not to say that we expect every black celebrity or every black person with a platform to save all of us. I would say start with your own kids and then start with the populace wherever you live at. But when your whole platform is interviewing rappers, not grilling them about the real issues that's going on in our community, and really having something to just have small talk and lollygag, yeah, you're privileged to do that, but everybody else is black is not privileged to do that. And when we look at your radio show, your platform is where is the privilege for black people? There's no privilege in our children being able to be listen to you on a platform, interview, basically do promo for rappers' next mixtape or their next project. There's really no privilege in that for us, for our youth as a collective on a macro level. When we're at war right now, the same levels in which I just mentioned that Charlamagne the God may consider we're privileged in is our areas we're at war. Economically, we're at war. Educationally, we're at war. Psychologically, we're at war. Socially, we're at war. Okay? In regards to our health, in our anatomy, and our physiology, at war. Now, on health, anatomy, and physiology, this is a point in which we are privileged that I did not see Charlamagne touch on in his book. Because when I first heard the title, I said, well, I said, I know he ain't talking about like melanin and biochemistry and the fact that we privileged because we have neuromelanin. We have 12 melanin chambers and compared to the Europeans' 2 melanin chambers. Our melanin is highly active. The Europeans' melanin is folded. Our melanin can transfer the sun rays into vitamin D3, which allows us to be able to live in all types of subtropical areas, live and get energized by the energy source of the planet. When we look at our anatomy and our physiology, we have the strongest of the strong, the fastest of the fast, the agile of the agile. We have the most incredible physique of any specimen or human creatures, and we've always been superior in regards to at athletics, in regards to lyricism, writing, delivery, spoken words, speech, being an orator or orator. We have all of these privileges, but once again, we use a lot of the things I just recently alluded to, the being able to speak well, rap, or sing, and so on and so forth. But that's all controlled by the Europeans. As soon as we get a record deal, or as soon as we're on the TV, the Europeans control all of that. Contracts, sign off your soul. I got you. Come on, okay. So we are privileged, but a lot of times our privilege and the things that we're good at are used to our detriment or exploitation. And I did not see Charlamagne the God touch on these things because from a physiological level, we are privileged. When we look at our biochemistry and the melanin, we are very privileged. When we look at the melanin connection to the sun, the melanin connection or the carbon connection to life, and all cellular and molecular structure, we are very privileged. We're very privileged. But a lot of us aren't able to even understand that privilege, wouldn't believe that we were privileged in that manner. And a lot of us only want to look at the physical prowess and the speakability and the singing and the voice and the mind to create the art and the music and so on and so forth, the visual and the auditory art, because we are very privileged in regards to art and being the first artist. So we're privileged just being melanoid beings on the planet. But when we look at the system that we're under, when we look at the Europeans that control the world, the planet, when we look at the direction that America is going, the leader in America, the so-called leader, and of course, Donald Trump don't affect our lives directly or immediately, but he does affect where America will go, which will affect us because we live in America. But don't think for 1 second that I'm telling you that Donald Trump, you should be scared of Donald Trump, or you shouldn't be trying to do what you're trying to do in life because of Donald Trump being president, or you should be blaming things on Donald Trump. Realize that Donald Trump is the president and then act accordingly. That's what I'm telling you to do. So don't get that twisted up or confused. But the privilege that we do have is always at our exploitation, and the biological privilege that we have, Charlamagne the God doesn't touch on that because he's a radio host and not a scientist. Let's just be honest. He's a radio personality, and that's something that we have to get out of too. Is we pick and choose what we hold to the highest regards based on our privileges, because based on our athletic privilege and our ability to deliver and speak and sing, we hold more praise, and we hold that on a higher level than the academics, or the scholars, or the people who are the scientists, and the people who are the engineers, and the constructors and the masons and things of that nature. Those things are put to less regard. Okay, and that's an issue too. So we want to pick and choose what privileges, or what greatness, or what abilities that we have innately due to being black and having melanin, that we hold on the highest regards, or to the highest regard. And we have to get away from that also, because we want to praise the athletes, and we want to praise the singers and the rappers, but we don't praise the scientists, we don't praise the engineers, we don't praise the architects, we don't praise the actual artists who draw, visual artists. Okay, so we have to move from that. And in the book, I don't, and like I said, I didn't go read it page for page, but I didn't have to read it page for page to know. Okay, that what he's getting at is not even the real privilege that I can say, I understand that that's game, because we do need to know that we're privileged because of our biological structures, and because of the greatness of melanin, and the versatility of melanin, the black dot, the cerebral spinal fluid, all of these things. We need to know these things. That is serious privilege. And I would expect him to shout out, Jewel Pukram. He would be shouting out, maybe Sabi, Laela Africa, Dr. Richard King. Then it's like, okay, he really dropping high science, because he's breaking down the privileges that blacks have through melanin, and the melanin chambers, and the neuromelanin, and the fact that melanin is everywhere within your body, and your melanin is in your cerebral spinal fluid. And the first thing that you see on the fetus is the black dot, which is then going to turn into your entire body structure, or not necessarily your entire body structure, but your bone structure and your organs from that black dot, which is going to also be what is your retina. So like Layla Africa breakdown, all melanin, you see better, hear better, taste better, feel better. Twice melanin is an enhancer. So anything you do, you get the double benefit. So when you smoking that loud, you getting the double high. When you eating that food, you're getting the double taste and the double fat, which is why we have to watch what we eat. And when we eat the right way, we look chiseled, we look beautiful, our bodies look excellent, as we should, as they should, because that is a privilege and an advantage that we have on an anatomy level, on a physical level. They're not touching on that. See, and that's the, once again, we like small talk, gossip stuff. We don't like deep stuff. A lot of times people probably turn this video and be like, "Oh, the video too long. Oh man, he getting too deep. I don't want to hear all that," because we're turned off by that. But when When we look at a black man talking about black privilege, if you're going to talk about it in the right way. If you're going to talk about it, acknowledge white privilege as well. If you're going to talk about it, acknowledge the fact that, yeah, it's beauty in the struggle, but everybody don't make it out the struggle. So if you come through a struggle to even say I have privilege from making it through the struggle, we got to look back and look at how unprivileged the struggle was. Because I can see things from all angles, from all diasporas, from all directions. But he's not touching on all of that. Once again, it's more narcissism, me, and speaking from his personal viewpoint. So we got to be aware of the fact that, like I mentioned when I first opened up the video, our kids are at target. To even speak this into life is in the direct attack on the subconscious of our youth for them to think, oh, I'm privileged. If it's not in the right manner, because you are a privileged melanin child. Of course you privileged. But we not about to act like it's not disadvantaged. We not about to act like there are certain structures or certain systems set in place to destroy you. Certain systems and structures set in place for the advantage of the others. We're not going to act like that doesn't exist. We're going to break down your true privilege and how to value and base your privilege. But you will never not be told about the attack that has come upon you, that is upon you right now. So for those that may have read the book, I don't know if it was an excellent read all the way through. I haven't even opened up the book to read it in depth like that. I actually know somebody who had it and skimmed through it while I was with them. So I am definitely in disagreement with that. And I'm going to also touch on a couple other things in regards to this black privilege, because some people may say there are blacks that are privileged. And I alluded to it before, so I just want to drop a couple names now, because I already really alluded to, like, okay, yeah, you're privileged financially, but what are you doing with your financial privilege? You are staying on code. You're staying in line to keep your financial privilege. So there are blacks with privilege, but what are they really doing with their privilege? For us, for self, they doing a lot. But for us as a collective, or for just the blacks in their area, in their demographic where they stay at, they not doing much. They not doing much. They staying in line with the Europeans so that they'll keep maintaining the financial privilege. A couple names I just wanted to drop, and I'm gonna say a couple of quotes or things that these people said, not verbatim, but we have Jay-Z, very financially privileged. He's more, when you get to a certain level of privilege, you only worry about gaining more privilege. Never forget that. Michael Jordan, we know he invests in private prisons. If you don't know that, please look into that. Oprah, the sister Zaza Ali let me know for sure not to check out the so-called series or documentary she did on Henrietta Lacks because it lacked. So I did my own independent research and got great information about the sister Henrietta Lacks. And if you do not know about the scientific greatness of her cells and the fact that she had melanin in the enzyme that's only produced through melanin, that was allowing the white scientists to see that every single cell that they were using, even cells across the country, had the Henrietta Lacks cell in it. Very deep science. That's a black privilege. Charlamagne the God ain't talking about Henrietta Lacks in this book. I promise you that. Barack Obama, a lot of people get caught up in Barack Obama. He's a privilege. He a Negro in the White House. That's the most privilege a nigga gonna ever get, huh? You're privileged. What did you do for black people? You did more for the LGBTQ than anybody else, or anybody of color, or any so-called minority group. Because remember, family, we not a minority group. Because everywhere you go on the planet, Asia, Russia, Australia, South America, Africa. Almost forgot my continents. Even Antarctica. In Alaska. Black people. Lee Daniels, we know. I mean, I'm not about to go in depth on him. Lee Daniels, they. So once again, yeah, you privileged, you a movie director, so on and so forth. You trying to do TV shows and series with the European women. You don't want the black woman to play the head role. And if she do, she's gonna be representing us at our worst and at our best because that's the scheme for the TV. That's the scheme for the programming. Program them to see themselves at their lowest states. Okay, that's just a few. And then Tyler Perry and Morgan Freeman. And I heard that Oprah filmed the little Henrietta Lacks at Tyler Perry Film Studio, and that got me wondering because Tyler Perry in one of the articles I read was talking about how much money he put into the studio, so much that he don't even want to talk about it because it's just that much money. And Zaza Ali, when she gave me her breakdown of the Henrietta Lacks that was done by Oprah, it's not looking thorough at all. And one of the things she mentioned was it looked low budget, and the sister's so thorough I don't gotta watch it to second that. That's how thorough she is. I don't gotta go second that. I don't even gotta second that. I know she thorough. So Tyler Perry in that article was alluding to, black representation in Hollywood, or blacks being misrepresented in Hollywood, or blacks being overlooked in Hollywood, something of that manner. That was the premise of the question. And he said, it's not about that. Don't ask me questions about black people. Don't ask me questions about blacks in Hollywood. It's about money. It's about green. It's about who trying to make money, who trying to make the money. So of course they trying to make money off you niggas or you black people, but they gonna make money off you exploiting you. This is somebody who's never really dropped a stellar movie. He's done movies based off of the skits, which is pretty much the same premise. And all his movies is really showing us at our lowest. And he could go get a sister in that age range, give her money, let her keep her little acting career going as an older black woman, and he don't gotta get in a dress. Once again, he's showing us at our lowest states. Okay? And then he's talking about it's not about color, it's about money. It's not about race, it's about green, it's about money. Okay. Okay. Then Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman said something too where it was on CNN, and once again, it's to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like if I made it, you can make it. That's not, come on, man. You know, and to be in your 70s and to be saying that is ludicrous. You've seen white supremacy in a lot of different states. You've seen decades of white supremacy. And now you telling me just because you made it out, everybody else gonna do it? It's only a certain amount of jobs. It's only a certain amount of money. It's only a certain amount of opportunity. Especially when we're talking about a career field that Lee Daniels and Morgan Freeman is in. Real slim chances. Let alone just going to living the so-called American dream. And I got to do a video about that. Is the American dream real for black people? Can black people live the American dream in today's America? We have to look into that. We have to discuss that and see what the American dream is to you. Are you trying? Do you have an American dream, or do you have a dream of manifestation? Do you have a dream of self-consciousness, reaching the highest version of self? What is your dreams in this American system, or the system selling you a dream? Okay. So we got to get into that too. That's going to be a good one to get into too. Now, we hear a lot of these celebrities speak of this. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. If I made it, you can make it. Don't fall for this. Don't go for this. Of course, we all have ability to succeed. We all have an ability to persevere and overcome. But through that perseverance and through overcoming those circumstances, never forget those who got left back. Never forget those who may not be able to get there or act like they can do what you did, because according for you to do what you did, a lot of things had to go your way. It's just real. Especially when we talk about people in that field. You know, you an actor, you Hollywood and all that. Come on, man. Stuff had to go your way. Somebody gave you an opportunity. Something went your way that was not supposed to. And yeah, I ain't taking away the hard work and all that you put into it, but it's somebody else putting that same amount of work and effort in, but they're not going to catch that break. It's just the reality of the system. America's system, the capitalism, somebody got to be in poverty. There's got to be a percentage of people that's in poverty. This whole American system don't work if somebody is not impoverished. Simple. That's simple. Don't get no deeper. There has to be a group that is impoverished, that is below the poverty line for this to work. So don't go for that. Don't fall for that. Everybody is not going to have the same opportunities. Everybody is not going to catch that break. Everybody is not going to find that motivation. Everybody's circumstances, especially as blacks, are different. So really, to wrap it up, because that's everything I really have on this, besides the fact that, oh yeah, and never forget neither, Charlamagne the God also, we call him with Tommy Lauren, who's definitely a suspected white supremacist. And we have to understand too, this man is not a scholar, he's a radio personality. So you already are doing suspicious stuff, being out with Tommy Lauren, smiling, taking pictures. That's a real attention grabbing and real. That's really, in my opinion, that's coonery. That's coonery right there. And then when we look at the fact that you really are not a scholar, you really haven't done anything but just be a radio host, what makes you credible to even write a whole book talking about black privilege when you're not going into any data, any stats, or breaking down the true molecular and biochemical and physiological privilege that we do have? You're not touching into that. You're touching into really the beauty in the struggle. To pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Stop complaining, which is true. I don't disagree with that. But we still got to be realistic in the fact that we're not privileged in America. In America, we are not privileged. In this world, even in Africa, we are not privileged. We don't have water. Flint, Michigan. Trayvon Martin. Corin Graves. Philando Castile. All of these shootings. Sandra Bland. It can go on for days. What privilege do we have in the world where we can be slaughtered without punishment for the person who killed us? Men, women, and children. We can get slaughtered by law, so-called law enforcement, the people we're supposed to call for protection. Where's the privilege in that? Where's the privilege in the white-dominated media structure? Where's the privilege in 9 or 8 out of 10 commercials? It's a European face. Where's the privilege in that? Where's the subconscious privilege for our children getting European shoved down their face in the proper light or in a positive manner? And the only time that they see themselves in a negative manner. Where's the privilege in that? Where's the privilege in not having any control over the content that our children see? Any control over the educational curriculum within the schools? In control of judges? In control of political policy? Where's our privilege? But we supposed to be privileged because you got $2 million net worth and you host a radio show with artists that are more destructive to our children than beneficial? No, you looking at something from your lens, from your viewpoint. And as a black populace, remember, we should not think every black leader or every black person with a platform is not supposed to do for self or for their immediate family and do for the whole black community and do everything for the community. But they should be giving back to the community in some way, shape, or form. They should feel obligated to give back to the community. They should feel in unison and in connection with the community. And they should want to be relied upon by the community and make that reciprocal. So I rely on the community and the community relies on me. And we have a reciprocal relationship. We should want that. But I'm not saying these people got to do everything, but they should be doing something, and really in these times more than something, and it should be on an exceptional manner. Being a radio host of low class rappers, that's not really. Everybody on there ain't low class. Don't get me twisted, because they got a lot of people on there, but they got a lot of these newer cats on here too. That's not exceptional. That's not black excellence. And I'll give it to him. He'll have voice walk-ins and other. It's more than just rappers. But when we look at the Breakfast Club, which a lot of our kids can't even listen to because they in the miseducation system. What is it doing for us as a people, and what is it doing for our children in the future? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It is gossip talk. That is it, and it's promo for whoever they got there because they're gonna plug everything they got coming up. Okay? So don't fall for the illusions. Don't wake up. Don't wake up and think you got black privilege in America if you're not thinking about your biochemistry and your anatomy and your greatness that was given to you through the creator. And the fact that you can go outside and get totally replenished from the sun, which is an energy source, the light source, and the heat source for this entire galaxy. If you're not talking about that privilege, you're probably in the wrong direction. You're probably in the wrong direction. So we are privileged, but Charlamagne the God is not breaking down the privilege that we do have. We do live in a system of white supremacy, and I feel the brother Red Pill no longer calling it white supremacy because they created a system. They're not supreme in regards to comparison to us in no manner, no. But they did create a supreme scheme in a systematic structure that is keeping us in an inferior state. But we can rise upon that. Okay? White privilege will always exist. With black underrepresentation on pretty much all levels outside of strip clubs, chicken joints, and basketball players, and football players, and rappers, all professions that exploit us for our abilities and for our privilege, you're not doing nothing for us. You're hurting us more than you're helping us. So we have to understand and overstand there is an attack on the minds of our children, and we must protect our children at all costs. Why do you do this, Chance? Why YBI Academy? Why the African Holistic Health Products? Why the Eat to Live? Why are you dropping the videos? Why a vegan? So we can live for the kids. So we can have a group of children that are able to survive in the future and keep us alive and be able to have the mental capacity to digest the knowledge and understand the complexities of the science, the ideologies, the algorithms, and the formulas that will be passed on to them generationally. If we're raising up a bunch of dummies, if we're raising up kids that don't understand their true black privilege and think that they black privilege is going to be hosting some damn radio show, interviewing white artists, that's the wrong direction. Peace and black power, family.